Okay, so today what we're going to do is lesson 1.4, greatest common factor. Our learning goal is that I will find the greatest common factor of two numbers. So I'll do an example like usual. What this means is if I ask you to find the greatest common factor of the numbers 12 and 18, we're going to do some work. And where we list different things out, like I would say 12, the factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. I'd say 18, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18. We're going to do something saying common factors. 1, 2, 3, 6. So my greatest common factor is 6. Now, I don't expect you to know what I just did. Remember, that's totally fine. All I'm doing is showing you what our learning goal is stated. Our learning goal stated, I will find the greatest common factor of two numbers. So if I had asked you to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 18 on today's homework, this is the work that you're going to do today, and you're going to give me this answer. To be honest, we should be able to go through this lesson pretty quick, and we'll skip some of the stuff on our notes. I have it on there in case we need it. We'll probably skip a lot of it because this should be a review. I know in 4th grade you did greatest common factor, and I did the exact same thing. So I know you did in 4th grade. I know you do it in 5th grade. This should be kind of a review. There's 3 ways we're going to meet our goal today. The first way is we have to explain what the meaning of factors are. Haven't we discussed what factors are? Yeah, not every single one of our lessons we have. It'll still be a good review. On this one, use list of factors. And to be honest, that's what I just did in this one. Let me show that. That's what we did here. Use list of factors to identify the greatest common factor. I'm just going to say to the side for you guys to know. This is one method I'm going to show you today. So in our first example, we're going to learn how to do, like I did up there, make it a list of factors to identify what our greatest common factor is. And then the third thing to be successful for today is a second method. And it says, I will use prime factors to identify the greatest common factors. Okay, full disclosure. I'm always honest with you. My method, I prefer listing of factors. I feel it's the easiest, but there's one catch to it. You don't have to raise your hands, you don't have to make anyone else see. But I want you to think to yourself right now, how good am I with my math facts? Do I know my multiplication facts very quickly? And do I know my division facts? Like when I said, what are the factors of 12? Remember we play factor ball and we throw the ball around? How good are you at that? Can you remember all the numbers that multiply to 12? If you're really good at it, method 1 is probably going to be your go-to method. It'll be quick and easy. If you kind of struggle with factors, I'm going to show you how you use your calculator to help you, to be a learning tool to help you, and it should still go pretty quick and easy. When we did prime factorization, remember we made factor pairs? If that was pretty easy for you, method 2 is going to be your bread and butter. Okay? Yes?
Are we going to play factor ball today?
We'll see. Probably not. Alright, so here's what I want to do. Open up your workbooks to lesson 1.4. Greatest common factor. And then we always keep them, since you're silver, one up to keep them in the silver basket. Yours should be, what color is yours? Green. You should have a green label in the silver basket. Alright. We're only going to do pretty much one exploration today. And the reason is I just don't like what's in there. I kind of feel like it kind of gets more of the students confused than what's good for it. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. But greatest common factor. I lost my pen. It says a Venn diagram right here uses circles to describe relationships between two or more sets. A Venn diagram shows the factors of 12 and 15. Numbers that are factors in both 12 and 15 are represented by the overlap. Now, if you guys have ever messed with a Venn diagram, which I would suppose you have, I really believe you have, we use Venn diagrams a lot in reading. We use it in writing, where we are trying to compare two or more sets of data. Okay? So the way this worked was like if we were to list the factors of 12, I make a blue circle. Anything that falls inside that circle is a factor of 12. So they said 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So I'm just going to write to the side the factors of 12. We said were 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay? We made an orange circle. And we said anything that's inside the orange circle would be a factor of 15. So the number 1, 3, 5, and 15. Now the overlap was what we highlighted. And it says that are factors of both. That is a term that we are going to say, and I'm going to abbreviate just with CF, but that's going to stand for common factors. Okay? So before we get a little too far ahead of us, we've been talking about factors. Who remembers what are factors?
Factors are the numbers in a multiplication equation.
Just follow up with that and then we'll check. I'll try and do it. Say it again, bud.
The numbers that are in a multiplication.
Good. Numbers that you multiply together to give you a certain number. What do you think the word common means? This one should be real hard. What would common mean? Yeah, it means the same. So now when I say common factors, I'm going to be saying, what are the same factors? Well, what numbers overlap? That?
1 and 3.
Yeah. We see right here we had 1 and 3. And if I had this listed, I see there's 1 in both lists, and there's a 3 in both lists. So those are our common factors. Now, going the next step for you guys, today's answer question, we say GCF for greatest common factor. Well, between our factors that are the same, the number 1 and 3, what number is bigger? Ain't that a tough question? What number is larger between 1 and 3? Yeah? Very good. Anna's like, I know my numbers. 3. The greatest common factor. So the factor, the numbers that go into a number, the greatest one that's the same between 12 and 15 is 3. Now, it's good that we learn how to use this. Will we ever use this in real life, or what do we care? Yeah. 1, to help us with math, not even in real life. I'll just say with this regular math first. Math continually builds on each other. Using greatest common factor, when we get into our fractions and we have to simplify a fraction, if you know your greatest common factor, you simplify a fraction in one step. It makes it so much easier. Okay? So, here's what you are going to do. We're going to just do mainly one example. So, let's make one circle. We're going to look at A at the numbers 36 and 48. You're going to make one big circle, 36, I'm going to make one big circle of 48. And what I want you to do, I want you to actually turn, and we got to get moving. So I think it's a Monday morning. Instead of doing our turn and talk, we're going to try something totally different. This might be a failure of life for me. I don't know. But I just feel like we need to get up and move around. We're kind of really quiet and sluggish today. So here's what I'm going to have you do. You're going to have to stand up, and you have to go find anyone in the classroom that can help you find one factor. That person gives you a factor. If it's a factor of 36, you're going to write in there. If it's a factor of 48, it's in here. If you can identify that it's in both, go ahead and put it in there. We'll discuss how to do this a little bit better after we finish this activity. So, if I go over and I talk to Tristan and he tells me 1, I write it down, I have to go find a new person. Everyone get how to do this? You're going to be moving around? Okay, ready? Go. We're coming back together now. Accuracy is pretty good, guys. I like that you got to move around, talking with each other. Now, there's a reason I do not like this method, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. But let's first throw out what are some of the factors. And what I'd like you to do is tell me, does it go under 36, does it go under 48, or does it go under both? All right, Shay. 2 goes into both. Sai?
18 goes into 36.
3 goes into what?
48.
Okay. Does it go into 36? It does. So 3 is actually going to be in both.
24 goes into 48. 12 goes into 36.
Does 12 go into 48? It does. 12? Yeah, that's what we put in the middle.
Oh.
Sai?
8 goes into 48.
Oh, come on, that just Sai tell me all the answers.
1 goes into both.
Which one?
1.
1 goes into both.
4 goes into
4 goes into both.
both. 6 goes into both.
6 goes into both.
48. 36 goes into both. So 6 goes into, no, that's 9 goes into 36.
Okay. Now I'm going to check. I think we might have almost all. Oh, am I missing one stuff?
You have 10. And it needs to go to 30. What? Oh, no.
Alright. So this is what makes this hard. And this is the reason I don't like this one. Joseph, you can get one? 16 into... Oh, 16 goes into 48. Good job. The reason I don't like this method is this is kind of like when we play factor ball. It can kind of be chaotic. Where if I say I need the factors of 36 and I toss the ball. And so Cohen catches it and he's like 12. Someone else catches it and they're like 9. Someone else catches it and they're like 1. And we're just listing all the factors and there's no easy way to remember which factors have been used. Now, last week we reviewed and we practiced about factor pairs. Remember, whose shoe did I steal? Yeah, I took Andrew's shoe. Remember we looked at Andrew's shoe and my shoe and we compared the two? We're like, hey, they're both shoes, but they're not a pair of shoes. They don't go together. Well, we listed factors, but we didn't have the pairs. They didn't go together to start giving a number. And when we have that, if I wear Andrew's shoe and I wear my shoe, yeah, they would work, but it wouldn't be helping me. It wouldn't make things easy. So,
when we do a Venn diagram, the problem with it is it's not really easy. It can be confusing. So I'm going to go through and see if we have anything. Let's look at our factor pairs. 1 times 36. I'm going to follow my number line. 2 times 18. 3 times 12. 4 times 9. 6 times 6. And since 6 went to itself on the number line, I know I'm done. Remember? So if I'm checking all these, I'm going to write it over here. 1 went to, I know this is light green, I apologize. 1 went to 36, 2 went to 18, 3 goes to 12, 4 goes to 9, and when we did 6, because it looped to ourselves, we don't have to check any more factors. And we know we have them all. Notice we didn't have to check 5 because when I said 5 doesn't go into 36, so we don't do it. All right, let's check all the factors of. Let's use this guy. Of 48. 1 times 48. 2 times 24. So I could write these out. 1, 48. 2 went to 24. 3 matches up with 16. Now that one would have been kind of hard. You might have used the calculator if you didn't know your facts. 4 matched up with 12. Does 5 go into 48? No. Does 6? 6 was here and it goes with 8. Does 7 go into 48? And does 8? Yeah, but we already had the 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 to 8, so we have them all. Now, when we looked at our common factors, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. 1 is in both the lists. 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. That's all our numbers. Now, before we do this next part, I think this might help you remember. I told the story with my other group. My wife, little Peanut, who's the 5-year-old, my wife was trying to teach Peanut about stranger danger. Okay. Remember, we got to stay away from strangers because like, we're in public places and stuff a lot. And so we asked him, she gave him a little thing, and she's like, all right, Jude, if a stranger comes up to you and says, hey, little boy, I have a bag of candy for you. Would you like some candy? You don't know the guy. She goes, what do you say to him? He goes, I said, I can only have one piece. We're like, no. So it's like, Jude, you're failing at life on this. So he's like, just one piece. So when I think of this, I always think, when I look at the common factors, I think of Jude. He always wants something. And that kid loves chips and candy. Chips especially. So I'm going to ask you, if you're ever using your common factors, you can start thinking of Peanut and be like, I don't know what we call him Peanut, that's his nickname. So we say, okay, yeah, if you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 12 pieces of candy, which would you prefer? And what do you think Peanut would go for? He'd be like, okay, I take 12. So, when we find our greatest common factor, our GCF, we would say 12 goes into both of them the most. Alright, we are not going to do anything else with Venn diagrams. I don't think they're the most easy. Visually, I think we can see it pretty simple, right? I can see for 36, 9, 18, 36 are factors of only 36, while 8, 16, 24, 48 are only a 48. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12 go into both. Visually, Venn diagrams are awesome. But to set one up is really kind of confusing. So, let's stop there. And you can put that away. And let's get your notes out in front of you. Now, I decided to go in and I redid your notes for you guys. I'm trying to make them look a little more organized. And actually, my first group on Purple Day told me they want me to do it just a little bit different. I'm going to next time for Chapter 2, I'm going to put your warm-up for that lesson in your notes. That way you don't have to keep that also in your notebook. It just keeps things better organized. So, first thing you should be doing on your notes, this should help you with your paper, how you need to do this. We're going to write your name. We are first silver 9-9. Alright. Common factors. Tristan, is that you that told me what they were? Okay, what are common factors again?
Common factors are. I didn't say common factors.
Oh, you told me factors, right? Okay, so what are factors?
Factors are the
Two numbers. Actually, I'm just going to say numbers instead of two. Numbers multiplied that give a specific product. Alright, so that's what factors are. Numbers that are multiplied that give me a specific product. Common factors are we could just mainly say the same in front of it. They are the same numbers that are multiplied to give a specific product. Greatest common factor, we can simply say the largest factor shared. I think that's the easiest way to say it. Greatest common factor is the largest factor shared. Now, there's a reason I didn't say between two numbers. Technically, that's what our learning goal is today. In fourth grade, when I did this with fourth graders, greatest common factor is easy enough that we ended up doing it over 3 numbers or 4 numbers. Could I find the largest common factor between 25 numbers? Yeah. It'd be harder, but you can do it. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, it's not that hard, but yeah, we can do it. Before we move forward, let's see if any of you guys catch on to this. In my first purple group, they asked a good question. They said, okay, GCF. Maybe we should put that abbreviation on here so you guys remember that. GCF. And for common factors, I'm going to put CF. They asked, is there an LCF? A least common factor. Okay? Is that a math term we use though? No. Why not?
Probably because the least common factor is
It's always 1. I was like, oh my gosh, that would be awesome if I said your homework tonight, 1 through 12, identify the least common factor. You'd be like, sweet! 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, done. And it'd be so easy. Because 1 goes into every single number. So, we do not do least common factor. On Wednesday, though, we are going to do least common multiple. So we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Alright, example 1. We're going to go through 2 examples today. The other part of the notes was other examples if we're getting confused and lost and stuff if we need it, but I don't feel like we're going to. So, example 1. Finding the greatest common factor using list of factors. This is important because on your homework, for 2 of your problems in your homework, you have to use this method. Okay, I'm going to make you today use this method. By the way, your homework, I made that deal with you. It's only 10 questions. 2 of them, you have to use this method. 4 of them, you have to use example 2's method. And then the last 4, the first 2 of the math and the last 2, you can use either method that you want. So this is listing factors. Now, do you see that there's 4 lines under here? On your paper, you must turn your paper. This is the first assignment that I'm going to look at your work on blank piece of paper for part of your grade. I told you before, I've been really lax. This is the first lesson you have to show work. when you do this, find the greatest common factor of 24 and 40, you will have to show me your work on 4 lines. It will take minimum 4 lines to do your work. Okay? Here's how we do it. I need you to list the factors of 24. Now, I'm going to model this for you, and then if you do it a little bit different, that's your choice. But I use a number line. So I say, okay, 1 is always first. 1 times 24. Then I go to the next number in the number line. The number 2. Does 2 go to 24? Absolutely it does. 2 times 12. Now, notice this is easy for me. If you struggle, use your calculator to help you. And I'm going to show it on this next one. Coming up. Okay. So, if I struggle with my math facts, I check the number 1, and I got 24. I did 2, I got 12. If I don't know if 3 goes in there, all I do is go 24, and I divide it by 3. It came out even, so it's 8. So 3 goes in, 8. 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8. Can 4 go into 24? Yeah. If you know your math facts, you already know that, but this is how you use your calculator if you need help. Yeah, it comes out even 6 times. So 4 goes with 6. Okay, does 5 go into 24?
No.
It came out to a decimal, so we say no. We're only getting whole numbers. So I skip the number 5. After the number 5 comes the number, but we already wrote up 6, right? Right there. So these are all the factors of 24. I end up. We're going to do the factors of 40. Well, I know 1 times 40. And then showing you with your calculator if you need it. 40, I check the number 2. Comes out 20. So 2 times 20. 40, I check the number 3. Decimal, so no. 40, what comes after 3 that I check? Good. I know a lot of you know it, but a few of us might be a little confused, so I'm just making sure. 4 goes with 10. After 4, we check the number 5 pairs up with 8. After 5, we check decimal. No. After 6, we check. And see how my answer is up 5? If my answer comes out smaller than the number I was dividing by, we are done. I don't have to check anymore. Okay? So I'm done. The factors of 40 are 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 20, 40. Okay, common factors. What do you see that's in both lines? Now, the way that I do this is very simple. I just choose one of these groups, one of these lines, and I go through and say, okay, 1, is 1 in both? Yes. Is 2 in both? Yes. Is 3?
No.
Is 4? Is 6? Is 8? Is 12? Is 24? Okay, I'm done. I've had students that have just kind of been looking at all the numbers, trying to find the pairs, and they sometimes miss it. If I just go through each factor in one line, I don't have to go and check the other line. I don't have to go, okay, now it's 20 in it. Well, I already checked all the top ones. Alright, so I'm going to list on line 3 of my paper, I'm going to list the common factors. 1, 2, 4, 8. If you want to do this on your paper, where you circle your common factors, we did that in elementary all the time. Line 1, we wrote the factors. Line 2, we wrote the factors. Then we circled them. Line 3, we wrote down what the common factors are. And now the best part, the answer. What is my greatest common factor? Eliza, what would be my greatest common factor? Between 1, 2, 4, and 8. What's the largest number? 8. 8's the biggest number. That is your answer. That is all we have to do. Okay? So, we're going to take this real quick. We're only going to do one of these. We're going to do number 1, 8 and 36. On your paper, I want us to go. Here's how you show your work. You can do on line 1. Sometimes when I zoom in, it does that. Don't know why. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say 8 for line 1, and you're going to list the factors. 36, list the factors. Common factors, greatest common factor. It takes 4 lines. I'm going to pause. You can go ahead and get started. If you need help, please talk to the people at your table group. Raise your hand, have me come around, but show me, can you do this? Remember, if you need help, calculators are available. Alright, so coming back together, let's start with this. So once we set this up, it should be fairly easy. Who can tell me what are my factors of 8? Joseph? 1? Huh? 1 to 8. What else? 2 times 4, and that's it. 1 to 8, 2 to 4, 3 doesn't go in there, 4, we already have it listed. Alright, what are my factors of 36? Side?
1 and 36, 2 and 3 and 1. 12, 4 and 9, and then
Good. Can't do 5, but I can do 6 times 6. Honestly, this is the hardest part. This is the hardest part of method 1. Common factors. This one should not be too bad. What numbers were in both lists? Andrew? 1. What else? 2 is in both of them. 4 is in both of them. And that's it. Remember, if I were to look at the factors of 8, 1's in both, 2's in both, 4's in both, 8 is not, I'm done. Awesome. Miss Kimbrell, my common factors are 1, 2, and 4. What would be my greatest common factor? 4. Pretty simple. Now, it looks like, I went around when you guys were working, I talked to each table group. I hope you guys are being honest with me. Everyone told me that they understood the process, the steps. They said the only difficult thing was identifying the factors. So what I want you to do is go rate your understanding. So don't tell me about, oh, it's hard finding the factors, but do you get how to do this method? Circle thumbs up if you do, sideways thumb, or downwards thumb. Tell me, where do you feel you are at about understanding the process, how to do this? If finding the factors is difficult, I understand. Good, I want to come around, I'll look at those in a second. Let's go to example 2. This is the method the majority of my students like to use, but there's one thing that you have to pay attention to that's different, and we'll get to it. Example 2 is using prime factorization for your greatest common factor. Okay? You do have to do this on 4 questions today. There's also 4 steps. So you'll probably use a few lines of your paper. This asks me to find the greatest common factor of 12 and 56. So on your paper, let's work this together. Right next to this, on my notes, I'm just going to put the number 12. And step 1 says make a factor tree for each number. Alright? So I have the number 12, and to the right I'm going to put the number 56. I have to make the factor tree. Remember, that's what we did in lesson 3. We have to do the prime factorization. Well, that's pretty simple. If a number's composite, we break it down to a new pair of factor pairs. So can anyone tell me what is a factor pair of the number 12? Anna?
2 and 6.
Okay. So I do 2 times 6. And 2 is prime, so I circle it. 6 is composite. So we get a new factor pair. What's a number that goes into 6? What's the multiplication problem? Grace? 2 times 3. 2 is prime. 3 is prime. Oh, I'm done. Let's go to 56. Anyone know a multiplication problem that goes into 56? The factor pair? Okay, 7 times 8. You said 8 times 7. I just said 7 times 8. Because I like my prime number first. 7 is prime. We have to make factor pairs of 8. Joseph? 2 times 4. 2 is prime. 4 is composite. I about drew a circle around it. I'm sure if I make a mistake, you call me out on it in your link spot. Andrew?
2 and
2
2.
times 2. And they are prime. Okay, that's step 1. How many people feel like they understand how to make a prime factorization tree? I love it because on 12, I didn't have to use 2 and 6. Maybe I didn't know that factor pair. I knew 3 and 4. I can use that. I'll still break it down and we'll get our same number. Number 2 says write. So this was number 1. Step 2, write the prime factorization of each number. Okay, so for 12, we just have to write down our prime numbers. 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, the numbers that I circled. So what's the prime factorization of 56? Make sure we understand that. I heard from Trevor.
7 times 2 times 2 times 2.
Good. I like to write my smallest numbers first, but you're totally fine with that, okay? He said 7 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's fine. It's always best to put them in numerical order. 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. Okay? Step 3. Find the common prime factors. Okay, this is the part that's different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my numbers. I wonder how I would have best organize this to show you. I'm going to take this list and I'm just going to throw it over here so it's underneath it. And the only reason I'm putting them underneath is just so I can visually compare the numbers. That's the only reason. So it's easy to compare. Now, what are my common prime factors? What number is in the top one that's also in the bottom one? Tristan?
2.
Okay, I'm going to circle this. Now, I circle one group of 2. And this is where it gets tricky. Okay, prime factorization method's easy until this part. I circled a group of 2. So under my CF, my common factors, I'm going to say, actually we should say CPF, common prime factors. I'm going to write the number 2. We circled one group of 2. Is there anything else I can circle? Another 2. Hey, Mr. Nutt. Me? Sure. No, I'm almost done with this one. We steal another 2. So I'm going to write the other 2 here. And we don't have a 3 on both. We don't have a 2 or a 7 on either one. The last step says to multiply the common prime factors. So 2 times 2 is, that is our greatest common factor. The only difference is we multiply the common prime factors. Alright, I'm going to have you guys get started. On number 4, the triads, find the greatest common factor using prime factorization. Work with your table group. First step, use your notes if you need to. Make a prime factorization tree of both numbers, and then I'll come around and make sure that we're working on step 2 and 3 correct. It's on the back side of your notes. Alright? Okay, work with your partner. Alright, so, who can tell me, how did they do their prime factorization for 20? This will be for a Lynx buck. Alright. Sai, you've talked a lot today. This works out well for you.
So I did 2 times 10, but I knew that.
Now, I'm going to stop you real quick. How many people did something besides 2 times 10? How many people used a different factor pair? Yeah, you can. I'm just asking who did. Wow, most of you used 2 times 10. See, my initial thought went right to 4 times 5. But I'm just making that point. If I did a different number, that is okay with prime factorization. Alright. Side, continue on, please.
And then 10 is composite, so we have to break it down again, and it's 2 times 5. And then they're both times, so you can't break it down.
Awesome. I'll get your links back in a second. Who can tell me how did you did 45? Anna?
I did 3 times 15.
Why is this like, it's writing like really, really small or something, like you can barely see it? I'm not sure. Alright, that was fun. 3 times 15.
And then I broke that down into 3 times 5 because I broke 10.
Awesome. I owe you a links back here in a second. Okay, that was step 1. Step 2, we're going to write the prime factorization of each number. For my links book, what is the prime factorization of 20? Tristan?
2 times 2 times 5.
I'm just going to write it over here so it's easy to find. Okay. Who can tell me what is the prime factorization of 45? 3 times 3 times 5. Okay, or you links back. Step 3. My common prime factors. Common prime factors. What would I have circled? What was shared? Trevor? Or Andrew?
5.
So I'm just going to write that down. A prime factor was 5. Do I circle the 2's?
No.
But there's 2 of them.
No.
But there's 2 of them.
No, they're not.
I told you to circle. Yeah, they're the same. 2 and 2.
No,
They're not the same on 45 and 20 because
they have to be on both sides.
Good. They have to be in both numbers. Yeah, granted, I have 2 2's, but they're for the same number. Mike? Did I erase it? Coolness points. You can have 5.5. Alright, so, good. Very good. I love that you guys got that. I do not circle the 2's, even though there's 2 of them, because they had to be in both. I don't circle the 3's, because there has to be a 3 on both groups. Now, here's the problem a lot of people miss. Greatest common factor. This is the one that's kind of tricky when we do prime factorization. What would be my greatest common factor? Shay? Okay.
The greatest common factor would be 10, I think. Nope. 5.
Okay, it's going to be 5.
And also, can I go to the nurse? Like, I got a scrape and
Well, see, you got a little bit of a scrape.
like using like weird orange stuff.
Let's finish up here. I'll see you in just a minute. We're almost done, but it is 5. Now, the number one mistake people make is they say the answer is 25. Because they say 25 because they do 5 times 5. But remember, we're not multiplying. You're only multiplying whatever we wrote here on step 3 about the common prime factors. We wrote down we had common 5, and we times it by any other prime number that we wrote down. We didn't write it. So our answer is only 5. Okay, we're going to do one more, and we're going to do it quickly, and it's not even one that's listed. So cross off number 6, and I want us to write down 12 and 18. And we're going to do this super quick, because I just want to get to the part that I think is confusing. So I'm going to do my prime factorization first. I'm going to do 2 times 6, 2's prime, 2 times 3. For 18, I'm going to do 2 times 9, 2's prime, and 3 times 3. Alright, my step 2, which is in what color? Green, is to write out my prime factorization. So for 12, it was 2 times 2 times 3. For 18, it's 2 times 3 times 3. Alright, this is the part where I want to call on you guys. If you haven't been talking, I need you to do it so I know. I feel the people that have been talking, I feel like they definitely have this lesson down. A few of you I'm still unsure of. So, what are the common prime factors? CPF. What's something I can circle? Great. Phil and I haven't heard from you much. What's up, buddy? Good. Here's a group of 2's. Okay, is that it?
No.
Oh, good. So some of you are hearing the answer no. Zeta? 3. And I'm going to do this on purpose. I'm going to circle these 2 3's. Last group, I love when you guys participate because you show me what your misunderstanding is. One person said they thought that the numbers had to be on top of each other. So these 2 and then these 2 3's. They're like, oh, I thought the numbers had to be stacked on top of each other. No, they just have to be in both lines. So my common prime factors are the number 2 and the number 3. What would be my greatest common factor then? Now remember, we're doing prime factorization method. So we're not just identifying which number between 2 and 3 is bigger, we're doing something different with it. You've been nice and quiet. Number 6, and how did you get 6? Good. 2 times 3 was 6. Okay. That is what we're doing today. I'm going to stop there. The other example is a couple of pair numbers, and they want us to talk about what is the greatest common factor, or which one of them has the greatest common factor of 15. Mainly what you would have to do is find what's the greatest common factor, greatest common factor, greatest common factor, greatest common factor. It's just practicing that skill over and over, and I don't want us to do it. So here's what I want you to do. Put your notes to the side, because I want to get this started. This is the first lesson that I told you that you definitely have to show me all your work. If you do not turn me in your work paper, I will take 1 point off your final grade. Your class, by the way, I just looked before class started. I forgot to check your review, but I'm happy you just write this down. But I have to look and see what you guys' grades were in the review. Remember, we have Life Ed today, so we have like a study hall. Please be sure you are checking your grade book. What do you do if you get a 2 or a 1 or a 0 for a grade in math right now? Shay?
You have to come back here and redo it.
Yeah, you need to come. Right now, I've been keeping people at lunch because we're working together. You're always free to say, Mr. Sissel, can I work with you at lunch? Absolutely. I will always give up my lunch and work with you. But you have to take the responsibility if I haven't asked you. Some of you, I do not have your lesson 3 yet. So it's marked missing. I'm going to talk to some of you, and if you don't get it done during Life Ed, I do need you to come to lunch today. Okay? I'm going to look at your prime factorization one, or your review one, and I'll have a few that need to finish that. Okay. This first, today's lesson. On your paper that has to be turned into me, this is what I have to see. Your name. Your name, not my name. On that first line. Second line is the date. 9-9. Third line is what assignment is this? We're just going to say Chapter 1, Lesson 4. And then the fourth line, if you guys would write 1S. It looks like a 5. 1S. Because we are the first block on a silver day. Alright. And before you start working, let me go to your lesson. It is 10 questions long. You must show all your work, but here's the big thing. Pay attention to this. These are your questions. On number 1 and 2, and it says use a Venn diagram, you do not have to. Show your work. On number 1 and 2, you may find your greatest common factor any method you like. Just show me what you did. On number 3 and 4, find the greatest common factor using list of factors. Using list of factors. That is our example 1. This was 4 lines it should take you. List the factors, list common factors, list greatest common factor. Then number 5, 6, 7, and 8 tells you to use prime factorization. Always read your question, which means you're doing this method that we just did. Show me the factor tree. List the prime factorization, common prime factors, and your GCF. Can you check your answers? Multiple times. There's only 10 questions. You need to be able to get 100% on this. You really should be able to, but you can only miss 2 questions. If you miss more than 2, you get lower than a 3 on your homework. Okay? All right, you have 15 minutes to work. Please get started. I'll come around and help you.